The story begins with a warrior pointing a sword at someone with full speed. It's a perfect stab. We see a man who says, "I've seen the blade's tip for the 17th time," and then he gets stabbed in the neck. While coughing up blood, he says, "My 17th death," and falls to the ground. He adds, "If I had wielded the sword with a bit more effort, if I had worked a bit harder," he lies dead on the battlefield in a pool of his own blood. "Perhaps I wouldn't have died here." We see him somewhere. It's like a pool, a dark place, maybe the gate to the afterlife. Someone says, "Do you really think he'll get up?" We see a figure behind him on a boat. He says, "Try struggling, feel it properly, and give up the despair in front of a wall you cannot cross." The man is sitting there alone in rage, which is visible on his face. It's morning again. He wakes up in bed. A man wearing his boots says, "Squad commander, you woke up immediately today." He replies, "Rem, you have bugs in your boots." He freaks out and kills the bug by stepping on it. He asks, "Did you put it in? What kind of foolishness is this?" Rem replies while walking away, "Shut up. I just saw it crawling earlier." Looking at the bug, he thinks, "This is my 18th time seeing that bug's corpse. If I see it a few more times, will I be able to end this day?" We hear him telling his backstory, saying, "I have wielded a sword since I was young. I learned swordsmanship from a retired mercenary who coincidentally came to my village." He says, "Incredible. If you're already this good, you can become a knight." That was the day he began to dream. He says, "Me, a knight who can slay 1,000 people by himself and change the dynamics of a battlefield. An invincible hero, the knight who can finish a war. We will call him the Knight of the End." He thought he was the protagonist of the song a wandering minstrel sang, Let's leave the village and become a knight." We see a group of men drinking and laughing, saying, "Did you see the newbie fall earlier? The coward who was scared of a mere stray dog dreams of becoming a knight? You aren't even good enough to be a free mercenary." We see him, full of wounds, saying, "I, who left the village and entered a mercenary corps, learned that my talent might be nothing special, but it was too early to give up. From one failure, hard work never betrays you. If I wasn't talented, I believe that with time and effort, I could overcome it all." We see him killing a monster. He says, "I gained experience. I gained the strength and endurance to be acknowledged by those around me. I'm becoming stronger. I can become a knight." But that strong hope started to shatter. There was a child in the village he was staying at who requested a duel. The child said, "Old man, you're weak." He was 12 years old and had only started learning swordsmanship 6 months ago. The dunce, who had spent over a decade wielding a sword to the point where his palms were wrecked, was infinitely more pathetic than a genius who had spent just 6 months learning. He thought, "Is this how my hard work was all in vain? Is there really no way? I want to become a knight." Everyone may belittle me, saying it's a hopeless dream, but by spending several times less time on eating and sleeping than others, swinging one day, even if I can't become a knight, I can at least be an experienced soldier. 3 years later, in the present, with the Cyprus Division, the 4 companies for platoons, and below that, the 4 squads. I became the squad commander of a so-called second-rate squad, the best position I could achieve after my endless training. But still, being a regular soldier of the kingdom is better than being a traveling mercenary. He calls out, "Hey, Jackson." Jackson replies, "What is it?" He asks him, "Do my morning duty rotation for me today." Jackson replies, "Reply to me next time." We see Jackson leaving, and another guy says, "Gosh, what a wicked wildcat-like bastard. Look how he stares at you." He says, "Rem," and the other guy replies, "HM, trying to push something onto me too?" He replies, "Heart of the Beast. I want to learn it." Rem replies, "Didn't you give up on trying to learn it last time? Do you think it'll work now?" The Nerelia versus Aspen close combat battle began again. I died in this battle, came back to life, and began to relive the same day over and over again. Although I learned Heart of the Beast from Rem, each time I came back to life, I still couldn't dodge the tip of the sword that stabs me. Today for sure. We see a whole army ready to fight. He says, "This is my 21st time on this same battlefield. I have completely memorized this repeating situation." He dodges the spear attack coming at him. He says, Dodge the spear that comes to my back. Next is an attack from the guy behind me. And another squad member, he'll die soon. No, he died. He protects him using a shield, and even takes out the other guy. He says, it worked. Even though I blocked the first arrow, He immediately kicked the bucket. I completed my first goal for today. What's left now? We see a strong soldier. He says, I always end up facing that bastard without fail. He walks towards him and says, he has stabbed my neck and killed me 20 times. This time, I will survive. While the other guy runs towards him, we see him thinking about Rem telling him, since you always close your eyes in dangerous situations. He attacks him with an axe and says, look, if you do this on the battlefield, you'll die immediately. You need to be brave. Don't be easily agitated or taken aback. Become a bastard who doesn't know anything about death, like a beast. Now we are back on the battlefield. We see him staring at the tip of the sword that's about to reach his neck, saying, that is the heart of the beast, a beast who doesn't know death. Am I afraid of death? No, death makes me stronger. He dodges the first attack and is still staring at the tip of the sword. His heart is beating so fast. He thinks, for the first time today, on my 21st try, I dodged his stab. For the first time, he turns around to attack, but is again stabbed in the neck with the sword. He's back in the dark place again, and a voice says, in this never-ending day, I have been trapped, feeling pain and despair. The man in the boat says, give up and get on the boat. Acknowledge your weak self and be at ease. He replies, no, I rage. He says, that day will never come, you piece of shit. I saw the tip of his sword with my own eyes and dodged it. The same morning starts again. We see his team member wearing his boots and saying, Squad Commander, you woke up immediately today. With dedication in his eyes, he says, I am moving forward one step at a time. On my 22nd day, I am challenging it again. To be continued. Please like and subscribe to stay updated for future updates and new recaps.